You know, LeBron James is also a dick.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I sent you that one, but someone finally told him how big of a dick he was the other day. When he said
Good.
that Brittany Griner shouldn't even want to come back to America because look how much, we care about her and all that.
If you didn't put the correlation together, you said LeBron James, and well,
Well, I know, but there's a good idea for LeBron, even though he's now circled back and corrected his statement. Shocker, which means finally he pissed off enough people and someone went, no, really, bro, what? How about you? Yeah.
shut
But
your
yeah,
hole.
here's a good idea for LeBron. Don't break federal drug laws in Russia. Don't do it here, but especially do not do it in fucking Russia. And
I mean,
by the way, they even passed legislation and bills and drew one up to get her ass out of there, even though there's people that have been held literal prisoners of war and captive for years for just doing their job. There was no drugs, there's no anything. They just grabbed their asses, behead them, all that. Like we don't write legislation entitled, to save their asses. So, yeah, Mister, I'm not. I wasn't knocking our beautiful country. Well, why did you say? Why the hell would you even want to come back? Because they don't give a damn about you. Can't have your cake
as
and
a
eat it
matter
too,
of
there,
fact,
LeBron.
that's a little bit of a lie. Now I'll call LeBron James out personally. He's a piece of shit.
Well, I already said that
Because if it wasn't for a lot of people like us that he says doesn't give a shit about her, he wouldn't have the millions or billions
He's a
thanks
billionaire.
to us in China that he has.
Oh yeah, such a terrible country that gave him everything that he has. Sure, he worked hard, but look at all the billions of dollars he has. Yeah, he's at least a billionaire. I mean, look at all that. Yeah, well,
He's
we're such a
garbage.
terrible country. Cops are bad unless you need them to give you fucking police escorts to a Jay-Z concert at whatever they call the
I
Staples
mean,
Center
a
now.
good way you
He's
could
just
look at all of this
he's a
in
dumpster fire of a
regards
human
to
being.
her is Brittany should have thought about it like this. And this goes for everybody, not just her, but her in particular in this situation. She should have went, okay, if I did this and I was in a country under Hitler or Hussein, what would happen to me? Because it's going to be no different than it would be in Iran, Russia, or China.
Yeah, except if she tried to go to any of those countries, they just kill her because she is gay.
But you follow where I'm going with.
She'd
What
get
would you do there?
beheaded. She'd get beheaded in other countries.
What I'm saying, they're a dictator. So for
Yeah.
anyone coming from here, you should look at it like that. Would I do this?
They're beyond dictators. They'll
Would I do
decapitate
this?
you just for your sexual orientation. What they've crossed the line of dictator. They're
Oh yes,
fascist. They're all those things that they say that our country is. That they say all of us are, but yeah, I had to let that out as because somebody tells me we have to do it at 8:00 on the dot every week, and then somebody shows up like 40 minutes later. So I'm sitting here just trying not to drool on myself and keep my brain functioning.
on the CPI numbers.
And no one cares. Well, you got the numbers. It's right there. What it sucks. 30 seconds isn't going to make any difference, at least not in a positive route. It's just going to make it worse. We don't. I already give the world enough bad news on the Facebook page. Like, well, didn't see that one coming, did we? Oh, wait, scratch that.
We did.
But yes, good sir. So now I got to call out, was it Monday? Let the whole world, well, we all know how I felt about Denny Hamlin, but I mean, on the racing show, Denny Hamlin's a dick, in case anyone.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, again, not for this show, whole other topic, but he proved just how big of a dick he is because he pretty much just buried Childress.
Yeah. We know whose money it is because you're selling Denny's.
Yeah, that's just a quick little sidebar there before we'll get to it Friday.
And don't put in, and I wouldn't put that on Jordan because I'm confident in saying Jordan's not fancy enough with his mind in the mass car industry to really know what is going on like that. I don't.
Well, he still owns like basketball teams and stuff. He knows how this works. And you just went and buried.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he's got personal feelings about this.
He buried him. Like, sorry. Everyone's like, well, he had to pick up, get sponsors. And like, you could still do all that behind the scenes. Work. Oh, hey, here's going to be our car. We're working on an extension. Don't worry, we have a drive. Yeah, you can still do it all behind the scenes without completely going, well, they're not getting a long-term contract. Because Reddick's the one up front every week winning races. Like, if he's gone.
Yep.
So congratulations to Denny. I mean, normally people do it like halfway, 3/4 of the way through the season before they sign with the new team, not give them a year and a half's warning just to be like, no one cares anymore. Let me guess. They're going to
It almost makes me wonder if it's a bargaining chip.
They're going to bring in what? They're going to bring in Dale. Maybe that'll be his way into the Cup Series. The Earnhardt Childress Racing back to ECR. But that's another conversation for another show. But that's the only way it makes sense, because who the hell is going to go sign with? I mean, was he going to do sign tie? Finish it off? Barry Childress forever? I'm signing Ty Dillon. Jesus Christ. And look, everyone left. And suddenly at the announcement, everyone that works for Childress Racing got up and left. Like, you're bringing in Ty. Cool. What? I quit. I would respect that. But anyway, bigger things.
Sidewalk
on top. Which again is another shout out to Monster, because again, his tardiness. Like, I get up, I get in the zone, and then, well, somewhere right around the last 10 minutes before he's ready, I just thank you, Monster Energy, for not giving me a single thing.
Well, if this would have came out when it was supposed to at 8:00, not 8:30, whatever it was,
we could have saved it for next week. We all know the numbers suck.
Oh, we know the numbers suck, but I was waiting.
Without, it went up 1.4%. Without,
I was looking for that one.
Yeah, went up 1.4% without the expected seasonal. Yeah, like, so what we're really then? Like, I could have told you that. You don't need a degree to figure that out. I mean, AOC has an economics degree. I mean, that is real, and somehow shows you how good NYU is, or Brown, wherever the hell it was, big old school. And yeah, here we are giving her economics, or schooling her and everyone else on the economic front with all of it, because it's very, very, clear as day for me. And we all said it, and it's going to keep getting worse. And then a bunch of analysts are coming out saying some very dire things, kind of like, we all said was going to happen. But what do we know?
Also want to point out that everybody is trying right now, and I've seen this from Biden administration to people against the Biden administration, say, oh, we're not going to have a recession. There's just certain numbers, not even talking about the unemployment numbers. There is other numbers that they're like, numbers. Oh, yeah, we're not going to have a recession. I don't mean to be rude, and I know I'm considered a blue collar type mentality, but this is not the first time I've watched our country go broke. The last one almost killed my state. Literally, damn near killed my state. So when I sit here and say that, I can tell you wholeheartedly, by the end of this year, we will have massive protests like we haven't seen. I'm just putting that out there because of all of this financial decision making. Just saying. I'll leave it there.
It's not even decision making; it's just lunacy.
Yeah, but
that cannot be
to be made. And
yeah, but decision making means that they actually look at the numbers and think about it and make their decision off of that. This wasn't a decision; this was a plan.
I didn't say it wasn't biased.
This was a plan.
Kind of like him and his 92% of people would vote for me. Yeah, you're an idiot. If you believe that statement, Joe, you're not an idiot. You know what? No. Everything everybody says about you is true. You are senile.
Hey, aren't we all?
Dementia ridden.
Yeah, aren't we all?
Dementia or senile?
All of the above.
Senile, yes. That is my boat all day. That's why I have
catch me at the right time of day.
A couple hundred of these everywhere.
Yeah, I got stacks everywhere. I got some on the counter. I got like 2 on the couch currently. 1 in front of the couch on the floor. 1 under here.
These notes for this show's got a notepad.
Oh, don't you worry. Every show has
Legion, that's got a notepad.
Everyone has its own. But
collector's cards over here. That notebook's got or that book's got a notebook in it.
My favorite
You know-
part is I'm going back through everything from when I first started all this. Yeah, what, a year and a half ago. And yeah, working on titles and search engine optimization stuff, and it's amazing. I was going through and just seeing what I covered in it, trying, no, like what? See? Now when I saw what I was like, no one can say that I actually physically did not warn everyone on here. There's goddamn everything that's happened so far through all of my rewording and tagging and all. I have said it all here, and then it's happened there. Actually,
and that part is
more like right there. For those of us that can see them, like right there.
Yeah.
In that general vicinity of my finger.
I don't know if you recall this conversation from, it's been a few years ago, but conversation with a certain couple of gentlemen from the QC department in the office next to us about when I said then our biggest problem and mistake would be what country ski? What one did I say then in 2010?
I don't know.
Russia.
You were all over the board.
I said Russia and China. I've always said Russia and China.
2010 wasn't necessarily your best year.
No, I didn't say it was.
So you were
called this.
And in my defense, I didn't listen to conversations coming from over the gap in the wall there. Like no offense to you or Pontius or
that was actually not in
Hackett.
That was all of us in
Hackett
the debate there.
Anyone, like if it was happening, to anyone.
Oh, speaking of the ramp,
I didn't listen.
Side note, everybody, I see that is now the COVID test station for Camp Lejeune. That says everything.
You're not going to catch COVID. I mean, you might have COVID. You'll catch something in that
building.
You'll
lose it.
You go and get something in that building. I don't know what it is, but
testing building now. It's even on Google Maps.
Hey, no. Who doesn't need a giant building to stick a swab in someone's face? I mean, it's only,
it takes literally
a couple thousand square feet. Yeah, a couple thousand.
That's more. That bay. The bay is like
saying a couple, thousand or 20. Yeah,
I think the bay was 175,000 square feet.
It's just a couple thousand to do something that you could do in this much space, or maybe this room.
I had to tell you that.
You told me it before. Don't worry. We had it. At least you had a chuckle. I don't find things as humorous at 9 o'clock as I should. Give me about another 2 hours.
Well, in your defense,
you'll call me.
For
yes, I have.
4 or 5 hours.
Which is even worse, just sitting here waiting on you going. And what? So I'm just slowly.
Yeah. Dude, 4 to 10 o'clock is my most productive time of the day.
There's an antichrist walking around. Terrorist jumping in your lap and causing you to mute yourself every 30 seconds. For anyone wondering, that was watch the racing show for Monday. I didn't say listen. I said watch. Just the look on his face was enough. But again, trying to, don't worry, everyone. The monster is slowly kicking in. Can't tell by the way I'm talking, but it's getting there. But like we all saw this recession coming. I don't know how anyone missed it. Again, I've been saying it for forever, even on this. So it's recorded on here on many, many, many platforms. So you could try to say I didn't say it. I'll pull your trump card with YouTube, Rumble, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. I will prove you wrong. And we all knew it was going to happen. Did we all think? Did we think they could get up as bad as they did in 10 minutes? I at least figured they'd wait until after the midterms to completely, tank everything. I didn't think they would burn it to the ground while we're anyway. Yeah, that's just. They normally at least wait until after the midterms, and then they just blame Republicans and go right ahead. They never go.
They're beyond stupid.
Yeah, they haven't gone full board. Let's just kill ourselves. is they not actual killing yourself, by the way, people, before anyone goes
Figuratively, not literally.
for the AOCs of the world. It's called a figure of speech. How about shoot themselves in the foot? Verbally,
You know,
not with an actual gun before anyone out there
the,
cries because, well, apparently there was an emotional scene in the new Thor movie and people thought there should be a trigger warning because, yeah,
do what?
I don't know. I just like there should be a trigger warning. Jesus Christ. No, you can't make this up. What? Or how about we just do what we used to do and just watch it?
Make movies and shut the fuck up.
Don't be
Enjoy
triggered.
it or don't be enjoyed. Just either say it was good or it was shit.
Just
It's
watch
real
it.
simple.
Just
like when you
watch
go
it.
and watch Titanic on TV, it sucks. When I watched it in theater when it first came out, it was actually pretty cool.
Go watch it.
Just shut your mouth and quit your bitching.
Just,
It just depends on what you're watching and where and how.
no matter what, not everything. You're not going to like everything. You do not need a trigger warning or a safe space to cry. You just need to do this thing. It's called be an adult.
I mean, example, Black Hawk Down. If you watch it, expect to see some blood and somebody get shot or two, or maybe even blown up or run over. Which one?
He's the guy that played like the captain in Armageddon as well. That old guy. I see his face. I'll carry on. I'll think of it.
Okay. Yeah. You just. Where was I going with that?
I have no idea.
Anywho, moving back to the numbers here, real quick. It's financially because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The one thing I called, but I didn't necessarily word it like I'm going to say it right now. But I definitely called the fact that the energy index year to year, 1 year ago, rose 41.6%. That's all of it combined. Natural gas really hasn't went up a whole lot up here. Oil, well, we just won't talk about how much that's went up in Michigan because it's way up, most definitely. But then you look at the other things though, like the food index, year to year, 10.4.
It's really amazing through all this. How's the inflation rate? Like, how are they pulling off telling us it's only at what 8.5, 8.6, when there's when things are up over 40%, what nowhere near 8, not 8.5%. Like you lying.
I'll tell you how they do it.
Oh, I know. There's a stupid formula. It's just like the VA. Congratulations, sir. You're 180%. What do I get? 80. Thank you. Why? If you add it up. Sorry, fella. You don't get what you add up to. You just get our equation or mathematics.
Which I have the equation, and I am a lot more familiar with that shit than most people. And I still pretty good at math. And I don't understand how that one works out.
But anyway, like the numbers are scary. Like, again, I didn't read the whole thing, but I just keep track of things individually as they come up on my feed. Like, that sucks. Just
food for thought. If you ever look at the index report and you want the simplest, most direct numbers, just go to that particular graph right there. Because then literally every index number is laid out individually. But what I was going to say is this, the way they get away with it, because if you look at their list, if they say, okay, well, if you bring up clothes have only went up 3.2%. Let's see. They're saying cars have only went up. New and used cars have only went up 5.2%. Well, that's bullshit. Because a used truck you'd have paid last year, I don't know. Or no, sorry, let me rephrase that. 2 years ago, right now, you would have paid $17,000 for a decent used pickup. You go right now to buy that same pickup, you're going to pay anywhere from $24,000 to $28,000 guaranteed out the door. Guaranteed. That's going to be your lower end.
Yeah, I think they always undersell the numbers.
Yeah. But then you go up their list and you go to, this one Ski's going to love.
Yeah, I'm a lover.
Year to year, fuel oil has went up 98.5%. That's the government's numbers, which is a lie. It's over that. Whatever they say, it's always higher than that. If they're telling you it's 98.5, it's actually probably, like I've said before, 100 and What did I say that one day? 160 something, I think, 168.
It didn't happen in the last 25 minutes. You think I remember?
Yeah.
You
I'm
did
just
that. You are special.
Yeah.
The best part is I didn't even write what time we started this at. So this is going to be fun. But yeah, like and things aren't going to get any better. Again, I haven't looked at the whole thing, but I do have it. He has it. So if you get him, tell him to put on his big girl panties and get a social media account, he can then send you stuff too. But he never will. Anyway.
What, social media?
You know, all the analysts are saying the same thing. I mean, that we've said, it's funny, we said it for forever and we were called everything. But the Bank of America people now are the most recent to come out and say, yeah, it's going to take putting us into a deep recession to get us back down to, inflation rate down to 2% in the next 2 years. They're going to have to create a mass recession in order for that to happen. It's like, well, don't worry, we're there. We are not getting any better. Again, it's going to take time, as he said, it's going to take time to cool off the labor market and even more time to lower labor cost driven inflation. By the way, I'm pretty sure when everyone started raising their prices, like $18 starting at Taco Bell down here, yeah, 15, 18, just to get people to come back to work. And everyone said, well, it's a good thing. And what did we all say? Prices of everything are going to shoot through the roof. Why? Because they don't care about us. They still need to make money. Profit margins are the only thing that matters to major corporations. They don't give a fig about us living better. Why? Because they'll just raise the price of everything. So we'll be making more, but you'll also actually technically, by the time it's all said and done, like fuel oil and all, making less.
I'm pretty sure there's been 3 presidents in my lifetime who's ever said this exact word right here.
Fuck off.
Inflation never affects the middleman or the producer. It always affects the end customer. One of them was Ronald Reagan. I'm pretty sure Bill Clinton said it after he got his butt spanked in court and in the midterms. And I'm pretty sure Donald Trump said it in roughly,
by the way,
2017.
And only one president has ever stood at the lectern in the White House and walked up and said it was all bullshit. Only one did that. I was watching that morning with his Trump acquitted newspaper in his hand. I haven't heard anyone get up to their bully pulpit and drop a bullshit in the White House. That one made everyone happy. He said a lot of things, a lot of Reagan-esque things. He played the Reagan card, but maybe we all said it was going to make, again, that was a great point. You'll never hear anyone really say it. And again, everyone that keeps saying it's not affecting, it's not affecting, it's going to affect the rich. So the price of everything going up is going to affect the people that have millions of expendable dollars. But it's not going to hurt people like me, who now officially, by the way, everyone has 0 expendable dollars. Literally. Yeah, like we all saw it coming. We all said it was going to happen. These same people that are now saying this, we're all saying that doing all these things was going to be good for the economy. It's going to make everything better. As we're all sitting there going, what? I've seen this before. I can read. I know what happens when you cut into their profit margins. What? They will cut into your life. They will. They don't care about you. They don't care about their workers. They care about themselves.
They'll lose customers before they lose money, literally.
As big as they just care about their profit margins at the end of every quarter. That's the only thing that anyone
and also
cares
about. You brought up the inflation going down.
The 2%. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry, but we're fucked.
The interest rates they would have to raise to make that number happen in most societies would bankrupt a country.
Those numbers?
You think the homeless rates right now are bad?
Those numbers.
You let them raise the interest rates the way they need to, and you'll see the homeless population increase 10,000.
Which it already is.
Well, it's going to be.
Yeah, that's the saying. It already is now, and it's only going to keep getting worse because that number is going to keep going up.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Those interest rates, when they finally do raise them to where they have to, you're going to see 80 over again right here in this country.
This is why
it's already started. Ski.
No shit.
Where were we at? We were downtown. I had to go down by the courthouse.
Yeah, but you live in a shit One, you're in
Whoa,
a
whoa,
shit
whoa,
sandwich
whoa.
like Jackson, Michigan. Two, it's Michigan.
Well, this I have not seen even in Jackson
Your state,
in my lifetime.
your state committed suicide like 20 plus years ago.
And others, unless it was in other cities such as I've seen it in New York, I've seen it in Toronto, I've seen it in Memphis, I've seen it in Clarksville, Tennessee. I've seen it in certain cities, but I've never seen in Jackson 5 or 6 people with their carts literally on the same block as the sheriff's department.
California.
I'm saying here. I've never seen that here. I've seen it out there. I've seen it in New York. I've seen it in other cities. I've never seen that here. It's pathetic.
We're going to keep getting worse, but
yeah. And then they're going to raise the interest rates, and that's going to be widespread across every major and minor city. The only thing that won't have that is rural cities because, well, they can't travel to those areas.
No, it's just, I love it. And I literally, I mean, it's a terrible thing. Like, not people.
Terrible that's happened. We don't love
not the bad things happening to people. It's just, I don't even really have to try anymore. Like, I said all this years ago.
And then remember what we said, and then there's a whole show out of one topic.
And then there was people. We're going to remain nameless. That talked all kinds of shit. Told me I was crazy because I went and refied right before inauguration day. What? Mark my words. What? Locking this thing in at 2.25 for 30 years so they can't quit it. The greatest thing I could do, because when they, because you can only go up a percentage point a year, but if they're raising interest rates, by like 0.75 percentage point in one time, what that means that number would just continuously go that way, so they could keep making money back, and I'd keep having less money. Because guess what? That's how that whole thing works.
Well, that mentality,
they keep raising their interest rates when the Fed raises their interest rates to keep making them more money, even though the reason they're so screwed is because they're fisting us in the first place. Now they're going to fist us more. Like, it's pretty, who's doing all the spending? All of them. So they're making the price of everything go up. They are. So then, because of that, to help us all out, they're going to raise all of our interest rates. So people are going to pay more, even though they're already making less. So they're going to be more screwed. Like, and you people, like, I'm just sitting there, like, talking to them, like, and any of that makes sense?
I will say right now, for me, I am very grateful because me being the very disgruntled Jew that I am, ever used any of my points on my credit cards, on my one credit card, in 12 years, ever. The other day I was said, you should probably use your points. And I was like, huh? It's been so long since I've even known about them. I've completely forgot about it. And this is one thing I brought up because that has helped me in this little stupid deal our government's got going for our country right now, because I found a trick to save money on gas. I save 50 cents a gallon every time now, because I think Joe Biden will be out of office before I use all my points up. I'm just going to leave it like that.
I mean, I don't have that convenience. I just,
that's the only thing I'm saying.
I thankfully get points for using it. Then I get bonus points depending on what, and then I get points for paying it. So then I just normally put a giant chunk, and then I get a lot of money back in points, and then I just throw that towards the bill. I'm tired of you sending me emails that I have points. Put them on the bill. Then I have 0 points till it gets paid. Then I get points for paying it. But it's a vicious cycle. But I'd like seeing that number go down. But it's not going to get better. And I mean, the jobs numbers, those were exciting. Not really. They're expected for all of us. I mean, I'm not surprised by it, but
that's not you bringing that up.
Like when Obama was in charge.
Their unemployment rates, because I looked it up again this morning just to make sure that the numbers were what I thought they were. They're trying to say Michigan's unemployment rate is only 3.6. I know that's not accurate. That's a lie. I know that for a fact.
Hey, remember though, you can only go for so much. So sooner or later, you're just ineligible, and then the number's going to drop.
Well, no,
people can't file anymore, and that's how they do it. Whether you bleed it dry until you can't get it anymore, and then guess what? You're out of the system. And that means the number goes down regardless of if you're working or not, because you're not there anymore. That's how they get away with it.
There's a snag there because people don't understand that there's multiple factors. Okay. You don't have just the unemployment rate. They don't, well, I don't know why people can't look at it like for the state of Michigan. And in particular, you take the fact that, okay, our population is, for sake of conversation, we'll say, I don't even know what it is, 50 million. Well, how many people is there in this country? I think that's like 6 million here, actually.
330 plus million.
I feel like it was 6 something. But for the sake of conversation,
well, I don't know about Michigan. I know it was 330 million or so here.
I think it was 6. We're going to say for conversation for 6. Okay, so 6 million people, 3.6 unemployment rate. I assure you, that's a good number until you take into consideration the job participation rate.
Yeah.
The job market participation rate. What is that? Because if you look at that, I assure you, it isn't 3.6. It might be 36, but it ain't 3.6.
Well, that's what I was getting at. People can't do it anymore, but they still aren't going back to work just because they can't file. Doesn't mean, look, here's it's kind of like when everyone in the mainstream media and all the Drews of the world were going off. See, I had to talking about.
Well, I will say
during COVID,
no matter what our government says, and I will say this to the day I'm dead because they're fucking lying.
No shit. That's all they know how to do.
They say that COVID vaccine mandates have no factor in the people's participation rate in the job market. Well, I'm going to call bullshit because I've been looking up security jobs. Almost 80% of the security jobs available in the state of Michigan, you have to be COVID vaccinated. Well, I'm sorry. I will live on my pension till the day I'm dead before I take your COVID vaccine. As a matter of fact, now I don't think I ever want any other government vaccine.
I mean, this is really the big one. I think this is actually the other one, sure, but at least those like work, and the flu shot. It's not their fault that it doesn't work. They just hope that they guess right because there's so many strains of it every year. I get that. Well, but at least it's actually effective. Measles works, mumps. Like this is the one government one, and it absolutely sucks.
Well, let me
it does nothing.
As we said something different. From this vaccine forward, you will see a lot of people like my mentality will say, "Did I get that when I went into kindergarten? No, kiss my ass."
Yeah, sure. There's hey, don't do that. Why? Then people make the argument. Well, it wasn't around then. I'll just turn to another. The argument will never stop.
Now I could win that all day long.
Because except they don't see. You don't actually partake in the socials with the actual people. You're saying, "Let's go." Like you don't make argument. You don't. Stupid people. No, there's stupid people everywhere, though.
No, but I really
everyone that supports the vaccine, but they're pretty much the same mentality of people on social media. So guess what? You're having an argument with an idiot, so you won't win that argument because you'll just sit there and go. Because it wouldn't be an argument. I
walk away before I deal with that.
No, it'd be 5 minutes of argument. When I say 5 minutes, I mean you'd make your piece. They wouldn't shut up. You'd walk over and hit them, and the argument would be over. I just know you that well. Wham! It slipped.
I give you the facts, like the actual numbers. You can't tell me.
Yes, you can. Well,
if you give this, let me point that out, by the way, for everybody who's going to know and ask.
Dude, I've read
it. Came directly from the United States of America's Bureau of Labor.
Dude, I literally was reading off Pfizer stats to Drew. The last time he talked to me. Because he always said, of course, you put that in your body, but you won't, you get a tetanus shot, but you won't put anything else in your body. That makes sense. And like what? I didn't get anything else. Everything else they want to put in you, like I don't get flu shots. I got a tetanus shot. Why? Because it was due, apparently, at least in their system. Like that was it. But don't get the flu shot. The only other shots I've taken was my blood thinners after I got ran over. So I didn't fucking clot while I was stuck in a wheelchair, not able to move.
Well, the difference is.
And then I read him the numbers.
Look, one's approved and legit.
I'm saying I read, and I told him like what. I haven't said I'm not even starting an argument with you, dude. What? Like this is the one. I don't get like any shots, and I hate to break to you what I actually read the stats when they say they're safe for pregnant women. Except fun fact is they didn't actually test it on pregnant women. Like, and you're sitting here arguing that for the thing that they didn't even test. They just started throwing at people, even though they said they did. And people are like losing their kids and all kinds of stuff. Like you're arguing.
They'll understand after the midterms when they find out 89.9% of the population says screw you, and then they lose everything.
But they don't. I mean, hell, Jill Biden just compared them to tacos, from what I hear.
That's my point. Oh, she did straight up
breakfast burritos. Sorry,
from no
bodegas, from bodegas.
He referred to all the people in Texas.
Bodegas in New York to whatever the hell, where like
breakfast
tacos in San Antonio.
Yeah. I hate to break it to you, but if I think Texas and Hispanic, I absolutely do not think of tacos, especially breakfast tacos. I definitely think of cattle ranchers. I do not think.
No, I mean they're out of touch with the whole world, and well, the numbers are, and everyone's still, I don't get why they're getting so many. Like, why? Because most of these people left countries where you guys are trying to do all this shit that buried their country, which is why they left in the first place.
But while we're talking about her in that topic, since she was just down there the other day, that video came out.
She's worthless.
You see it from Uvalde, Texas?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, okay. Well, I just want to bring up that, like I said, training is a joke when you do it once. I counted over 20 different people myself in that one video. And I'm like, this right here proves what I said. Literally, what was it? 2 days after we found out about their training exercises their training exercise that they did for that. I knew it, because all I'm going to say is that video proves what I said. Now, it doesn't excuse what happened, but it makes it 110% understandable.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of people don't understand that, and they get mad and just say, oh, it's an outrage, it's wrong. Yes, it's wrong. But to create an outrage over it, you got to go back to policy first.
It's policy and an idiot problem.
Because had they not done one time a training on the school shooting topics, they'd have just done it like they normally would have prior to that. Just like they would at a home with somebody threatening to shoot somebody, like their neighbor, like here in Norville, Michigan, we have the Hatfield McCoys. Cops don't stop and think about, okay, we did a shooting. No, here they just go in because they know if they don't, the Hatfield McCoys will shoot each other in Norville, Michigan. I mean, come on. It's a reality thing. You can't have one training and then think it's going to make it great. And then I'm watching a video of, I feel confident saying at least 20 able-bodied men to be able to go in there and eliminate somebody with a gun, especially when it's one guy. Just leaving that there because it's going to piss me off.
You're the one that brought it up, Sean.
No, you're good. No, I was
just insulting someone comparing Mexicans to breakfast tacos. And here we are, back to Uvalde. You getting pissed off?
Well, because people don't give a fuck. It goes along the same line. They talk about this when the reality of it is it's this, and it's just it's frustrating because they go together.
It's never going to get anywhere, and there's still people supporting him, and Joe and all of them saying that we're still the crazy ones. Like, all this has happened, we're still nuts. You can't get through them, yeah. But anyways, jobs numbers going to get worse. I only know this because the big Walmarts here in town now officially have 2 actual checkout lines. The rest are all self-checkouts. You can do it all yourself, which means they don't need human beings to do that, which means less people working.
And you know why they're having hard?
And there's other stores doing it. Want to know why? Because their tax rate went up and the price of everything went up too. So they're finding ways to cut costs, like getting rid of people. You don't need as many people if you don't need people in lines, because they ain't going to hold on to everybody.
Well, when you got, so like
when they're spending money on self-checkouts, what people don't matter. That pretty much proves
we're having a hard time getting people to work. And that kind of goes back to what you and I were talking about a minute ago.
Before you
got COVID vaccinations, that took a toll on the job participation.
I just love people saying that has nothing to do with it. It's like,
well, it does. And then you have the stores like you were just talking about with the self-checkouts, right? The more stores that have problems getting people to work are going to have to go more stores going to self-checkout things, and not just grocery stores. You see it at McDonald's. That's going to spread across all the other different chains. That is eliminating humans.
Self-checkouts popped up like they're popping up big last time, when Joe was in office last time. You didn't see it nearly as
Look,
bad.
that's where I'm going with this. They are
It was
participating
guaranteed.
actively in eliminating people from working in this country.
Yeah, they're going out of their way to. I mean, that's what the corporate tax rate and raising when doing all of this going up meant, and making everyone having to raise their wages. What that was just a perfect way to get less people working, so they could look everything's tanking and get more people onto the machine, and the government having to literally. I said, what they're gonna raise it. We're gonna get more self checkouts. Less people are gonna be working. Oh, you're crazy. Well, guess what, guys? Ding, ding, ding. Once again,
Well,
the numbers.
It's going to get worse
The
because
Q3 numbers didn't lie, and neither will the ones from Q4.
and we're talking about all this right now, but the reality of this is, like we were just talking about earlier this morning, you and I were. This will be just like Sri Lanka. The only thing we haven't done yet that they did along the lines of the green energy side, that when we do it here, which we're already starting to feel kind of what the effects could be, we're really going to feel it when they do this. When they start cutting fertilizers and they make it so diesel is so expensive you can't buy it to run tractors. Farms will shut down. You'll see half of them close immediately. It'll be quick. I mean, you will see our country fail quicker than every thought possible. And they're on their way to doing it real quick. People don't want to see it like that. People don't want to listen, like we've been talking about all this show. The CPI shit coming out, job numbers, unemployment rates. You have all this, and it all boils back down to this and green energy.
Yeah.
Because Sri Lanka, and I'm going to talk about that right now because it does go with what we're talking about. That is exactly why India, for a good 8 months at the beginning of this, they were there trying to intervene, trying to get Sri Lanka to cut ties with China to prevent something like this from happening. They didn't do it. They didn't listen to India. India backed out after like 8 or 9 months of trying. And then look at this. Look what happens now. That was last summer. India finally was just like, I'm done. We're trying. You're not listening. And I'm not saying they're the greatest country, because India is by far not. They have their own wrongs. But they are by far better to deal with and have around than China. I would much rather have India at my table than China.
Yeah, I was making YouTube thumbnails and going over everything and rewording all that.
But when
came
the
to
whole
green
point
energy.
of that though is, if you take the ability to live, eat, and work, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you take that ability to do that, live, eat, work, and provide your own personal security for you and your family, society is over.
Yeah.
A functional society is over.
Yeah, they went out of the way to make sure that's already.
I mean, I go right along with it. Like them kids were toddlers standing inside the street yelling at cops. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the point. Demonize them, just demonize everything to make everything seem bad.
Like that to me should be like the last straw right there. When you see a 3-year-old kid on the side of a street in his underwear with other kids in their underwear, no parents, yelling at the cops. If I was a cop, I'd be like,
I'd arrest the parents.
Yo, CPS, come pick these kids up. As soon as I get there and pick them kids up, I go in and arrest every single person in the house. Any house that they're associated with, I go to them houses and arrest every single individual. Once I've apprehended everybody, then I'd start one by one doing the interviews and make them all sit in jail until you're convinced whether they can leave or not. The first time they do that, the example that would be made would end a lot of the bullshit in this country. You got 80% of families in African-American homes are fatherless. Just want to put that out there. 80%.
Hey.
You got 16 Starbucks closing across the country because of crime. Closing permanently. And they will not open back up. 7-Eleven. I've never seen a 7-Eleven in my life that closed.
Seattle, New York City.
7-Elevens are being instructed across the country by the corporation. Close your doors.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
LA, I think, is the other one. They lost 6
one
of the
in
big
New
ones.
York.
One in Philly, one in New York, one in Portland, 1 or 2 in Portland. One in like 6 out in like Seattle and somewhere else.
Well, California and Washington.
You know, it's really bad when Seattle
6 each.
Yeah, sorry, when Seattle's telling, like, anyone that knows what Here, let's play a game. Where was Starbucks founded? Where are they located there? Oh wait, the place they just told them to close 6 stores because the city
I'm
went.
pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because the city went to complete and utter shit, and it's not safe for them to be there
I
anymore.
don't even like Starbucks.
I hate Starbucks.
I will
Always
give
have.
them kudos.
$6 for a cup of muddy water.
I'm saying, as a corporation, I will give them props for instructing local franchisees to close doors. Now, I'm sure if they tell them this, I understand Starbucks is shit. We both agree on that, but I really do think in these scenarios, they'll probably work with those franchisees, to go somewhere else and open up another store. I'm sure they'll work with them on that to a degree because they don't want to lose money. They want them stores to keep producing, but they know in that scenario, if they stay open, all they're going to do is see their employees getting shot on TV in a crime-ridden video of some form on some news channel.
How many times? Just like last year when they started pushing extra hazardous duty pay for groceries to Kroger's out in Portland and California. They had to pay them more for hazardous duty pay because of COVID. And I'm like, what? Yeah, that's going to end well. And Drew's like, what? I think they deserve it. And all the people like him are what? This is a good thing. And then Kroger closed 6 stores because they were forced to start paying them more. So they said, fuck it. And they proved exactly what they cared about. It's not the customers. It's not their employees. It's their bottom line. Oh, we got to start paying them more. Cool. Bye. We out. And they closed 3 to 6 stores just like that because they only care about one thing, and it's not us. It's not their coworker. It's not their workers that they call family, and we're a big family here. They prove the only thing they care about is the bottom line and quarterly profit margins. They don't care about
those are the same people that said that military members should go to combat, make too much money. Excuse me, for the whatever 9.5, 10 months continuous pay we got in 2010, I think I made 35,300 something.
Wasn't anything to write home.
Tax free.
Yeah, that's almost one of their months. Actually, it's pretty damn close.
So for all the AOCs and Paul Ryans out there, kiss.
Paul Ryan was always in
it.
Why do you think Trump won? We never heard Paul Ryan's name ever again. It's amazing. Yeah. He was like a rising star in the Republican Party. Then Trump comes around, suddenly he's gone. Gone.
I've never, gone. Even Cheney isn't anti-veteran as much as that guy.
Well, Liz Cheney's un-American, but yeah,
she's not veteran like that.
Going through all of this, stuff. And again, the green energy stuff. I mean, that's really the big one, which is causing you. But I was going through just making thumbnails, I was going, wow, yep, I was right. Read the next. Yeah, I was right there too. Go to the. Well, I should do a greatest hits run. If only I was a video editing extraordinaire, I'd just play a week's worth of episodes, just clips of how many times. Here's all the times I was right on green energy. Enjoy, and then that would be it. And I just put a 15-minute just done. You're welcome, America. What this one's for you, and it's really killing everything. I mean, we figured that out, a long time ago. I've gone over it repeatedly, ad nauseum. Crime is bad, it's amazing that the mainstream media on there, and all the people that watch it, amongst the other I don't know how they still have ratings on any of the networks. I really don't, but I don't watch any of it. So you can't blame me, guys. I'm not even giving Fox a view a day. Wonder why? Because I got better things to do with my time, like sit there on this thing right here and make thumbnails and search engine optimize all videos and stuff. But which, by the way, is not fun, but there's not going to be any saving those people like him and all that, sadly. And they still, like I was saying, say that crime isn't spiking, that we're just, talking out of our ass. Corporations are leaving where they were founded to go somewhere else. I'm pretty sure that means.
Look how many companies left California to go Texas.
And really, it is kind of amazing that all these companies that are like Starbucks, I swear they were, they were supporting everything happening in 2020, and we'll rebuild. What do what you got? And now they're all just taking off. All the people that supported all this are now having to leave because they have to now they're all packed and shooting. Oh no, what, you supported it? You told them to do it.
I think I should have to sit and bathe in it for a little bit.
And now here you are going, oh, hell, we got to leave. Well, you supported all of this. I know how much money you gave to Joe and all them. You literally asked for all of this.
I'm with the people in Texas. You come here, you leave your mentalities there.
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite part is they move somewhere else and then they vote for the same stuff. It's like you left there for a reason. You guys are so brain dead that you keep voting for it anyway. Like that's amazing. It's truly, truly amazing. But now, as you mentioned, again, Sri Lanka, might as well get into that, and Russia and Putin personally attacking us. Like,
okay, well, I'll finish the Sri Lanka first, because that and India kind of go together.
Yeah, I mean, and India's, I mean, just because the region they're in, India's always in just a garbage situation because of.
India's just in a shit location.
Yeah, because where they are, like the region they're in, but they're just, it's kind of like Israel, where they are, what they're just in a.
Correct this or avoid this, and then this happens here with these people.
It's like Israel, what they're just. They're in the worst place.
There's no other word for it.
They're in the worst spot they could possibly be on the whole entire planet, and it absolutely sucks.
People wonder why I say we should be flooding Iraq and Israel right now. If you're going to do something over, you want to go over out of our country, you're going to do anything right now, you should be flooding Iraq and Israel.
Yep. Anyway, take it away, Maestro.
Sri Lanka. Okay, going back to that. They did declare, I think it was 3 o'clock this morning here, so whatever hour that would have been there, afternoon,
Yeah.
They declared a state of emergency. Because now most of their high-ranking officials have left the country because they're, let's be honest, everyone is protesting and causing mass chaos. They've already.
That was exciting. Well, that was cool.
The reason I bring it up is because it's a great example of the fact that they followed a green energy plan. All fertilizers that were not organic. All fertilizers.
Oh, damn. Look, you're back. You're back. Oh, you froze and there was nothing. Excuse me. You keep going. I'm pretty sure I have a large, fluffy problem. You keep talking. I'll hear you. Keep going.
Anyways, you got people taking away all the fertilizers wanting to go organic to do a mass scale of organic fertilizer. All right.
Anyway, thank you to whoever cut our internet for 30 seconds. Thanks a lot, Spectrum. Don't worry. You will be getting hate mail for making me have to edit this and put them all together.
Moving back on to Sri Lanka.
How about this? We'll just call it part 2 for the videos.
There you go. Let's do it.
Miserable piece.
We were talking about Sri Lanka. Simple fact of the matter is they went down a road with green energy that is unacceptable. They've taken their fertilizer options away, which cut their food. When you cut your food, you're not eating. There's just things go south quick. In doing that, their green energy plan clearly has failed. We're headed down a parallel road to that. But with that being said, India's in a very shit situation because, like you were saying, they don't flood this, they don't flood that, they don't do this here. If India does one thing to address a situation appropriately for, say, them in Sri Lanka or them in China, they can't enforce how those two react to each other. And they can't enforce how somebody else or necessarily appease somebody else's opinion of the scenario that's not even involved, but they might be involved with. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So you move on from there. India takes care of something, makes China kind of bow down to them, kind of cut a space in there between them. And then they try to help Sri Lanka, and Sri Lanka doesn't want to listen, and they screw up, and then this boom happens. And all of a sudden people are like, oh, well, India quit on them. No, India didn't quit. They're just like, I'm done. Well, waste of time. Useless. And then Sri Lanka's failing. They're in a state of emergency. Most of their high-ranking officials are gone out of their country. Yep. They're not even there no more because they know they're going to die if they stay. When it all could be simply avoided by them just going, look, we're in a state of emergency. We've made mistakes. We're all going to resign. We have to somehow, some form, set up an election of some way to happen there. without us dying, but we can't come there on the ground because of this. And if it's a civilization that wants to continue to exist, they will come back from it and go, okay, whoa, we got to stop for a minute here. The shenanigans we're going to do here is we got to stop. I don't know. They might be too far gone. And the reason I brought that up is because we're in a situation where if we don't change our ways, just like Sri Lanka, we're going to fail. And their financial failures is huge. You can't not produce food. We're going to end up cutting oil here to the point where farmers can't do the fields. And just like, are we screwing up again?
No, the little pop-up thing wouldn't go away.
Okay. But yeah, moving on from there, where I was going with that earlier, get done with Sri Lanka, then you have the other side of this conversation. Russia, Ukraine, Iran, and Israel. Why do I say all four of them together? Because one, Biden's over there right now trying to kiss ass here, do this there, do this here. Moving away from Biden, he's an idiot, so we won't have that conversation. Russia, Putin in particular, and Lavrov, which Lavrov, if I ever see him, I would bitch slap him in his face. Sorry, we're going to have to edit that out too, probably, but the simple fact of the matter is he likes to run his mouth. He's not a man. He'll only run his mouth to a camera that's recording in Russia. Go out in the front line somewhere and say that shit. Go outside of your country to another country or another meeting somewhere and say exactly what you're saying with somebody who's a red meat eating person there. Guarantee you get your ass kicked. Moving on from that, Russia, wholeheartedly with Putin leading it, is calling us out. They're going to instigate something to where Joe Biden's dumb ass will follow suit and all of his little cronies will follow along like they do with the green energy bullshit and go, oh yeah, let's go to war with Russia. Well, I'll tell you right now, 90% of the country wants nothing to do with Russia. We go to war with them, you're going to have to, if we go to war with Russia, this will be the nastiest war more than 99% of any Americans alive have ever seen. And I say that because it's going to be sick. The war that would happen would be very nasty and it'd be very sick. You're going to have a lot of guys in my mentality or worse involved from here. You're going to have even worse people from Russia involved because all of them people are just twisted in the head. I mean, look how many women they've raped in Ukraine alone already since February. They don't even talk about that number. That number alone on the world stage should have Russia locked up as a whole. But we ain't talking about that because, see, that ain't the government. That's the government at fault. The people in the military, which is their general population of people there, their military makes up a lot of people, whether they agree with their military or not. That makes up their country's people. Not just Putin's mentality, but that makes up the country's mentality. They're okay with rape, clearly, because look how many women they've raped. I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe it's because we've been in Iraq and we have friends that've been in Afghanistan. I don't know. But I'm partial to women and children. I don't like seeing what I see in Ukraine. I like what we're seeing in Iraq. I don't like what happened in Afghanistan. I don't even like what I see down here in our own country, let alone at the southern border. When it happens, Russia's corrupt. Ukraine's going to get really hurt. They'll win. Ukraine will win. But the loss and how bad they're hurt, that I don't know. And I will boil a lot of that amount of hurt back to the Western countries' leaderships because they can make equipment move a lot faster. That's all I'm going to say. Iran is being brokered between us by Russia. That's fun. I don't need to say anything about that topic because Russia is not looking out for our interests. They haven't since day one. They never have looked out for our interests. The only time they've been courteous to our interests was under certain presidents. Now, granted, under Reagan, we had Gorbachev. Okay. He knew Reagan was not afraid. He knew Reagan was reserved, didn't want to do certain things, but he knew Reagan wasn't afraid to do certain things. But after that, from that moment on, when all that went down, Putin from day one of that has hated our country and wants to see us fail completely since. Because he thinks the worst thing that ever happened in the world's history is the fall of the Russian Federation, not the Soviet Union, the Russian Federation. Even worse than the Soviet Union, the Russian Federation. So just want to point that out to people. They think the Soviet Union coming back. No, Soviet Union's nice compared to the Federation of Russia. Those guys were sick. Just putting that out there. Then you move over to the other side of that. Speaking of Iran, they want us dead. They don't want to start a war with us. They want us dead. They want anyone that believes anything outside of commie dead. There's like 10 countries in the world they probably was there. The rest of them, they could just be completely content with them dying. Confident in saying that. There's certain administrations in this world that are allowing things right now to happen that, well, for God's sakes, I hope Israel stays true to their own values. And when Biden lets Iran do whatever they want to do, Israel just comes and does their fly-by-night logo under the radar. Boom, boom, boom. I really hope they do it, because that's the only thing that will save us. In Israel, I really hope this new prime minister and the new government doesn't screw shit up with the Abraham Accords. All I'm going to say.
They will.
Carry on.
Not about it, but they will. They screw
Hope
everything
they
up.
I mean, we got a better chance of them not screwing up than our government.
Well, yes, but someone's going to screw it up somewhere.
Got to have some hope somewhere. I can't have it here.
Someone's, yeah. But someone will
Man,
cause
I am
something
getting dark.
stupid. Something will cause yeah. Someone will cause stupid to happen. It's guaranteed. We can't. People are very excited to be getting away with whatever the hell they want because they know no one's actually going to do anything to give a damn. By the way, thank you for getting all those oil reserves out for us while we're on that whole Iran-Russia thing. While we're sitting here exporting oil to China. Like, we're having a problem here, but yeah, we're giving it all to people that absolutely hate us.
Well, I think they realized after that just how bad it is. Because I think this needs to be said. You need to look at how many people, Democratic, progressive, liberal, how many people in the last 7 days have all of a sudden either transferred their views different, they're speaking out against Biden or Biden's administration. They're saying, oh, well, we're not aligned with that, we're aligned with this. Blah, blah. Look, AOC's batshit nuts. She thinks Joe Biden hasn't done enough. Her and the Cory Brooks and what her book, yeah. And Kim Brooks, that's the other chick I was thinking of, Kim Brooks. Kim Fox, the chick from Chicago. I mean, all them crazies, they only make up a few percentage of this country. But for some reason, we keep voting them retards in.
Keep catering to them. Even though they have the mental capacity of processed cheese.
For American adults to step up and go, okay, we've got to get rid of participation trophies. This lifestyle and mentality has got to go in the shit can because it ain't working. You need to start at the home level. Get rid of that shit. Just get rid of it. No more participation trophies at T-ball. No more participation trophies at field day. If you don't place in the top 3 for the podium or however they do, field days are 5, ain't it, for podium? There's top 5 people. Whole point of it,
at school
you don't place where you're supposed to place. That's on you for not performing. Not saying you can't perform at one point in that situation, but that's on you for not performing. Not the outfit and the sanctioning body or the organization saying, oh, you couldn't do it. No, you just chose not to practice hard enough or learn it well enough. Or maybe you're just not cut out for that sport. Maybe you should switch sports. I hated baseball. I hated baseball with a passion, but I was good at it. Don't know why. I hated it, but I was absolutely good. I probably should have continued. I probably would have went to college on a scholarship for baseball. But I quit. Didn't care. Don't like it.
Yeah.
Went on to bigger, better things.
There's too many idiots.
I'm just saying, some people are not cut out to lead anything.
No, I wouldn't trust AOC to run to run a bath, let alone be like making making legislation. She actually keeps getting voted by her peers as the most useless human being in the whole building. But
doesn't she live in like, she doesn't live in like an apartment, but like a condo place? Yeah. I want her to go to all of her neighbors and ask them, how many of you can afford to go out and get rid of all of your gasoline vehicles and buy electric vehicles today? I want you to go to all your neighbors and ask them.
Hey, that's their
And
plan.
come back and tell me if you still want to push what you're pushing.
That's their plan, just to get me. It's all
Won't
part
get
of
them
the plan.
nowhere.
It's all part of the plan.
It won't get them nowhere.
And they'll still keep going. Because it's all part of their plan. Come hell or high water, they don't care. It's actually kind of terrifying when you think about it, that it's punching you directly in the face and you don't realize
Still
it.
don't care. Yeah.
But again, as long as there's people out there that keep thinking that tried to tell you that she's an extremely intelligent person. Like, did you hear her give the argument on the Senate floor about how you physically can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps? Like, did you hear that? Like a figure of speech went over her head. A very easy figure of speech went, no, you're welcome, Peanut.
All that goes back to this right
Dead
here.
horse. Yeah.
The homes that are fatherless in our country, it don't fall just in the whole.
Great retards.
Oh, there's a whole lot of stemming from that though. Fatherless homes, retardism.
I think
They go together.
Denzel Washington said it best. All his friends grew up in jail. Him, not. Why? Because he had a dad.
Would it be
Slapped him in the back of the head and get yours together now. And guess what? He turned out okay. And boom. They just live in the victim mentality. That's all they know how to do. Be victims, act like they're what?
No, 3 people who won't turn out in that mentality.
How about you just be a winner? Like, go out there, right? Anyone can be a winner. You actually put forth effort. Don't just act.
That kid wants to win everything.
Don't blame the world for you being down when you can change all of that. Physically.
You talk about putting seatbelts on. If his brother beats him putting his seatbelt on, the world is ending. He does not like to lose. That. You know what? No. You know what? I got our ending topic. We're gonna close out on this right here. Our country has lost its Americanism and patriotism. Period. Because everything that comes with it is standards, guidelines, rules, outlooks. You think critically. Men were revered in those times. We don't have that no more.
Men are just gutless.
When you lose Americanism and patriotism, you lose
everything. Amen, bro.
Support your local racetracks. Go to your local voting. Chuck's here, gone. Walter loves you. Have a good day. Yeah, peace. I won.
And a shout out to Mick Manhattan. God bless you, Mick Manhattan, on Good Pods, the Scene Snobs podcast. He gave us all kinds of likes and ratings the other day to everything that we put up. So thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Again. Scene Snobs podcast. Brent, I'm still pissed off about the internet. Like, literally, we needed 15 minutes. Like, you couldn't just give me 15 minutes before you went and pissed me off for literally 8 seconds.
The sad part is for some reason, even though you lost your end, I never left the meeting.
Oh, I know. It said you were still in it, but it started converting it automatically. And I was like,
and then all of a sudden it shut off. I'm like, I didn't close the meeting out.
Yep. Mine just poofed on. I went out, I came back, it was gone. So thank you for whatever the hell that was. Miserable bastards. But yeah, make sure you check it out though. The Scene Snobs podcast, not a bad one. Just like Lullaby the Fear podcast. Most recent one she did was on John Wayne Gacy, and who doesn't like hearing about American serial killers? Who doesn't? I mean,
we should do one on what's his name? The Samaritan cult people. We should do one on them.
Watch out for those people. But it was fun. So we'll be back on Friday with another one. I'll be back with the Jesse Rosinsky show at some point. I'm just trying to redo everything and make thumbnails, and that just takes way too much damn time. But I will be back. We'll be back for, the racing show Friday morning. I'll be back tonight with Justin for a wrestling show. So yeah, be good to each other. Again, check out all the stuff. If you ever need anything, ask. This thing is full of a lot of documents
also
from the
say
federal government.
I put it in a PDF and I print it. That's like those notes. Where we go?
Yeah.
This, I don't have a paper copy of it.
Yeah, we have it all. We can get you all of that. So feel free to ask, follow along. And again, please share everything out because Facebook won't let me share more than like 2 things a day. For some reason, yeah, apparently number 3 is sharing too much and could be considered spam. Love to know how that worked out. That's just the biggest crock of anything I've ever heard in my life, but what the hell do I know? Facebook hates me. They've always hated me.
America, here's the proof of my hypocrisy.
Nearly. Yeah. How about we get the job again? Job participation rates. You can show an unemployment rate all you want. Show what percentage of the state is actually working.
I thought you'd appreciate that.
Kind of like, again, that's what I was getting at. COVID numbers. Like told Drew all the time. Like they're showing all these, like, well, here's the cases. I'm like, yeah, how about you look at hospitalizations and deaths? Why? You know how many cases of the flu there are every year? You know how many people die and all that? Like you never hear about that. What? And guess what? Hundreds of thousands, millions of people get the flu every year too. It's convenient. Right? You only hear about deaths on that one and hospitalizations. They don't just tell you every case. Like you have to look at the numbers that actually count.
Yeah.
Not people like me that tested negative.
I mean,
Still
unemployment numbers count, but they don't mean shit if you don't participate.
Not how they're using it. But yeah, we'll be back. So again, share it out because Facebook and all them hate me. Reddit, locals, I'm everywhere. We are Truth. Put it on Parlor, Cloud Hub, like you name it, it's everywhere. So find it, share it out, be good to each other, and I'll be back later. So until next time, peace.
Peace.